A group of men, when they get to 50, they start falling apart. I found out just by doing this podcast. There's this term called hospice wife. So, right. So I'll give you how it is. Hospice wife. So a hospice wife, basically a man above 50, marries a woman. Finally, he's been playing the field for 50 years, and now he's ready to get married. His body is falling apart. He's got hypertension. He's got diabetes, heart issues, the whole nine. And now he's ready to get married and settle down. So now he marries a woman maybe 10 years younger, or maybe in the same age group. And now he's marrying her, but only for him to have someone to take care of him in his later years. So
Hospice wife, huh?
The hospice wife.
Hmm.
What you think, Kevin?
This woman talks as if women don't have diabetes, hypertension, as if it's going to always be the shoe on the right foot, as if it's going to be the shoe on the right foot. And I don't know where they get these philosophies from. And now it's true, people grow old, wives end up taking care of husbands, husbands sometimes end up taking care of wives. But they talk as if you're going to be, you as in other women, it's always going to be in the position where, you'll be the one taking care of a man, as if that couldn't possibly happen to you. It's like it's a crazy way to think, man. Yes, you do have guys that they start to come to realization that they breaking down and they want somebody to be there for them in the end or whatever. But you know, I don't know if, well, I say it like this, man. If you're a young woman and you're going to put your eggs in the basket of an older man, then that comes with the territory. That person is older than you are. That's more likely they're going to go through health issues before you. Maybe. But with the food and things of today and the medicine, man, shit, people getting sick at 20 years old.
I really don't think that's what she's implying here. And you have to understand that men are the initiators of marriage. So what she's saying is these group of men who don't find favor in a woman who's out there cheating, playing the field, having a good time. But as they start to age and they notice that the change of life is starting to hit them and they're starting to be stricken with all these different type of diseases, then they want to look for a wife. Then the fear sets in. And now it's time to choose a partner because now they're looking for a partner, but they're not looking for her as with the same reasons that they would have looking for a partner early in life. So they start to look for their partner more for convenience, someone who can help take care of them because they're feeling the crunch. They're talking to the doctors. The doctors are explaining to them where their health is going, how their health is changing, what's going to happen to them in the future, in the older times. And so now they're looking for someone to aid them in those times, to nurture them in those times. And I think that's what she means is that why are you not looking for a wife at a more appropriate time where you're younger, where y'all can grow together? She's talking about those group of men who want to be the party boys. You know, the ones you're always talking about, Kevin, that's still in the club when they old and gray and shouldn't be in the club, that they should be actually out there doing something different with themselves. She's talking about those group of men who keep saying, I have time. Because, some men are still able to, 50, 60-year-old, they are producing children. We find men that are producing children way later on in life with a younger woman. But we're talking about those men who health issues are failing. And now they only want to seek a wife because they want someone to take care of them. So what happened when you was younger? What happened when you was at your best, when you had that six pack, when you didn't have diabetes, when you didn't have hypertension? Women are going to say yes to a man because she loves a man. She's going to want that man. And basically, you think about it, age doesn't really matter with a woman. It doesn't really matter with a woman. When she finds a man that she loves, and that she wants to be with, she will say yes. If that man will marry her and ask her to marry him, she will say yes if she's in love with that man. How men are a little bit more hesitant. And she's saying these group of men only wants a wife for to take care of them as they start to age and get ill.
I
Now
mean,
we do know that
it's a
women,
ridiculous.
these things can happen to women, and women can get sick. Women will get old. These things will happen to women. But if they have a good, faithful husband who's been in their life for long periods of time, that husband is on. If he's loyal and he loves her, he's going to stand by her and he's going to take care of her. But men initiate marriage. And she's just saying these men don't initiate marriage in a time when they're not sick and when they're healthy and they can be a good partner. They want to wait till they get older and their life is failing and their health is failing, and then they want a wife. How fair is that to that woman? Your
It's
good years
really
are gone.
it's really a ridiculous conversation because we can go back and forth with this all day. I mean, you can go, well, what happened to you waiting, a woman waiting until she's in her 40s and 50s to start looking for a husband? And what happened to all the men that she dated throughout the years? What, you didn't find a good one? You couldn't keep a good man? I mean, come on, man. I mean, how long we gonna keep on with this
You're still going
foolishness?
against the grain.
How long
It's
we
not
gonna keep on
foolishness.
with
You're
this
still going
foolishness?
against the grain. Men initiate marriage. Men look for a woman to marry. And there are women who will go their whole life and have dated men and no one has asked them to marry him. It doesn't mean that she wasn't a good woman. It just that means that none of the men they played with her. None of those men were serious about pursuing a wife. And you know men drive marriage. No woman, I mean, well, I gotta take that back because some women is getting on their knees asking these men to marry them these days. It's a little weird.
You
But
can't.
I'm saying marriage is initiated by men, not by a woman.
it- How
It's
about no
desired by
man
woman.
asked her to marry her that she wanted to marry? It'd be the same
How
thing with
about
men. How many women that act wanted him to marry her, but he just didn't want to marry her? You see, it
Kevin?
goes. It's a useless point because okay, you can say no one asked you to marry you. How do you know nobody asked her to marry? And most likely, what ended up happening is the guys that really wanted to marry you, you just didn't want to marry them. And most of the time, women don't count those guys. They only count the guys that they wanted to marry that didn't ask them to marry. Same thing with men. Men can have wonderful women, but they choose to chase after the women that didn't want them, so they didn't find a wife.
So
And
you
then
think
now here
all
we
women,
go. Here we go with this group of men that they're in their or their older age. They're looking for a wife to take care of. Well, you're in your older age and you don't have no retirement, and you up at Walmart at the door greeter, and you looking for a man to step in to take you to the end of the road. It's just we back to where we are, where here's one side, here's the other side, and there's no middle ground no more. So what? Okay, maybe he is sick right now. Maybe you sick right now. It's a group of women that's out there that's not healthy, just like there's a group of men that's not healthy in their elder age. But okay, so we identified that there's a group. Now what?
but the issue here that you're negating is that women don't initiate marriage. Men initiate marriage. And you're trying to tell me that there are no women who have never been asked to marry by a man. No man has never not asked some woman to be married. There's plenty of women who has never been asked. If that man does not open his mouth, she won't know it. And there are a lot of women who men have never asked to marry them. Not every woman has had the opportunity of marriage. And you're not going to sit here and tell me that you believe they have.
Most women have. Most
No.
women have had an opportunity to that some guy wanted to be with them. Most women have.
You
I
said
mean,
be with
I,
them.
I mean,
I
most
said
of the women
marry.
that I've came, and this is a personal
Marry.
experience, but
Marriage.
And I'm just talking, yeah, man, women, he's talking about initiate marriage. Women always running around with a ring in their purse trying to get you to
No, no,
marry
no.
them all the
When
time.
I say initiate marriage, a man has to ask. I'm not saying that the woman doesn't make it clear that what she's going. Most
So,
women in a
so,
relationship makes it very clear that the end result of this relationship
so
is marriage.
let me ask you
But a
this.
man has to ask.
So let me ask you this. You've identified that, let's just say there is a group of men out there that's just looking for a woman to take care of them at an old age. Now what? So you identified the group. Now what?
What do you mean?
What do we what happens after that? So she gets on a podcast and said there's a group of men out here that just want to marry you and take care of them. So okay, now what?
And some
You've
women are
identified
okay
the
with
group.
that. So, and some women are okay with that. Some women are happy
So
with
in
that.
that
Some
the case,
women
if you're
they
okay
are
with it,
fine with that.
then that's
I
no
said some
reason.
women, but I
Okay.
mean, she's probably speaking of women who are not okay with that, and she's just warning some women that don't be fooled by these men who are coming to you at that age and offering marriage. And for her, that may be an issue. She may be one of those women who have worn off men. But some women are okay. They don't care if it came when they was 20 or if it comes when they 60. Some women just want to be married and they're okay with having a mate that they have to take care and nurture. Because it doesn't, to me, and I'm speaking, to me, it doesn't change regardless of the age of the man. A man still wants to be cared for and nurtured and treated as such, regardless. So the age or his illness does not matter. What matters in her podcast is that that's when a lot of men are choosing to marry a woman and they're stepping down to women because, look at it. Men can go a lot younger than women and it's more acceptable. So if a man is 60 or 70 years old, he can date a woman in her 40s and no one will see fault with that. And a woman will marry him in her 40s. And so obviously if he's 70 and she's 40, most of the time, it's going to be her taking care of him. And some women will accept a proposal at that time in their life from a man that they find favor in. They're not going to look at his age.